Hello, we'd like to extend a warm welcome to James Hillard, 1/4 of the Horse Meat Disco contingent, who've been championing disco before it was called the second time round.
I'm sure there's been many more times. I think
Yeah,
it's
there's
like
probably
another
been a
time
few.
around or something, yeah.
But welcome
Thank
to
you.
Groovefest.
Thank
It's
you.
good to
Very
have you on
excited.
board.
Thanks.
And have you been to the Caribbean before?
Never? No, it's been my first time.
Yeah. And what do you think of the concept of Groovefest? Something new?
Oh, it sounds awful. What, beaches, sunshine, beautiful music and lovely people. Yeah, no.
No.
Awful.
Not keen. It does look good. So Horse Meat Disoc, you've been going 8 years now.
8 years, we just had our
Yeah.
8th birthday back in October.
So what's the secret?
I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
people always ask, but I guess that we kind of cottoned on to something that people wanted, people were into. I guess kind of, we're in the right place at the right time, and I guess that what we do is good. Otherwise
Resonates.
I guess people
Yeah.
wouldn't come if they didn't like what we do. So, I don't know. We've been lucky to be going 8 years. I think it's quite
Yeah.
quite old age in,
It
in
is.
club terms.
It's longer
I
than
think.
most marriages.
Exactly.
And on a Sunday as well, that's quite a challenge you've set yourself.
I think so, because
Yeah.
you've got to really want to come out on a Sunday. It takes quite a lot, and I think for a lot of people, they can't make it on a Sunday as well. So
Yeah.
I think it's quite extra special if they can manage to kind of drag themselves out on a Sunday. And I think as well, sort of gay people have this gene.
Sunday
Unfortunately,
night gene.
I don't have it,
Yeah.
so the ability to be able to go to work hungover
And appear normal.
and appear normal, and
Yeah.
actually, they hold down a quite important job. So
Yeah.
good on them.
I'd love to be able to have that gene.
Yeah. Me too.
Yeah, disco, what sparked the interest, the love?
I guess it was my dad. He was a DJ, sort of about the time I was born, so sort of late 70s, early
Wow.
80s. I mean, nothing really cool. I mean, I'm not
Yeah.
saying that he was like some sort of major club DJ.
But you could still raid his record collection.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
he had his decks. He'd always have his decks set up in the dining room, and he used to build his own speakers. And I remember being very little and listening to the music, and I guess that was the music of the time. But I think as I got older, I still really loved it,
Yeah.
and moved to London in '96 and still loved it. And a lot of people that I met thought I was a bit weird, but I guess that it moves me, and
Yeah.
that's what music does.
Yeah, me too. Love a vocal.
Absolutely. I think it's the instrumentation, the songwriting, the arrangements, and the sort of production that I guess we just will never have music like that again.
No.
So it's great music from a time in the past that won't ever be recreated
No.
again. And the fact that 30 years on, this music still
Sounds amazing.
Sounds
Yeah.
fresh, and sounds relevant on dance floors. And
Yeah.
I think
It was
I'm
a
not
great
the
era.
only one who loves it.
No,
Plenty of other
definitely
people love
not.
it.
Definitely not. Well, that brings. I mean, there's a whole new wave of like new disco that,
Mhm.
that seems to have a resurgence over the last few years. I mean, how do you feel about that? Do you
I mean,
see
I think
yourselves
it's-
as pioneers of that scene?
I don't
or-
know if I say it was
Yeah.
pioneers. I think we certainly can't take all credit, because I think when I first moved to London, there were already DJs playing old disco records. I
It's
remember
just harder
going-
to find.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I remember coming to see sort of tummy touch parties. I mean, that was before us, and you had like the Egypt Boys and Groove Armada
Yeah.
playing that kind of stuff. So, and Harvey, there's no shortage of DJs who were playing disco stuff. I think what was different for us is that we kind of actually sort of took it back to gay people and go, look,
Yeah.
this is where it kind of
Dance.
came from. And I think anyone who's into music, whether they're into kind of house music or hip hop or things like that, I think once you're into music to that extent, you'll always go back to the origins of where that came
Yeah.
from. And for like most modern dance music,
It
it's
is
disco.
Yeah, great stuff. So how did Horse Meat Disco come about? What was the name of the night for one? Is quite
Well,
unusual.
the name
Yeah.
was like a bit of a flash of inspiration, really. I mean, it was, I was cleaning my flat, getting rid of some newspapers, and the headline was "Horse Meat Discovered in Salami," but it was kind of covered over, so it just said "Horse Meat Disco." It kind of
I
just
see.
jumped out. So I
Yeah.
thought, well, that's got to be
Divine intervention.
Exactly, that's
Yeah.
got to be a good name for a club. And the fact my dad, I was talking about my dad earlier,
Yeah.
he was a butcher as well as a DJ, so
It just seemed right.
I don't know,
Yeah.
it just had a great ring to it. It meant lots of things, but it meant nothing. It was a little bit taboo, it was a bit wrong, so
It sounds
it seemed
right,
like a
yeah.
good name for a club. And me and Jim had already done some club nights before
Mm-hmm.
in Brixton, so it kind of started with a different one, and then it started good and then sort of tailed off a bit, and then the name came about and we thought, great, I can sort of marry the two things. It's disco and meat.
Yeah, sounds good to me. And do you remember your first gig? Was it?
Vaguely. I do actually. Oh my god,
this is what we want. Go for it.
Because at the time we thought it'd be really good to have like some live performance element of it, which today is quite sort of part and parcel of most sort of clubs. But we had a DJ who was the guy who actually got us to do it in the first place. A DJ from New York called Adam Goldstone, who sadly is no longer with us, but he was the driving force to get me and Jim to do it. He goes, "You've got to have a show." So we knew of a guy who could suck his own. That's it. So
brilliant.
We thought, great, that'll do.
Not Prince.
That'll do. No. But the thing is, he couldn't get it out.
Oh no!
So it's actually quite.
Is this live on stage as well?
This was, I think, because he was used to sort of like doing it in gay clubs. I think he might have been put off by the amount
by
of
the
women
heterosexual.
just like, come on!
Yeah.
But yeah, it wasn't a spectacular show. It just kind of
was a bit of a flop.
It was a flop.
Sorry.
He just ended up just lying on the stage. So.
But was there a repeat performance? Did he ever come back and?
No. He never did. But we had some weird shows, I think. But that's kind of.
So it's quite a cabaret-esque element to it.
A little bit of a show in the night.
On
it wasn't like a
side.
long thing. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of one of the first gigs first gig I remember. It was great. A lot of people came that night.
And I bet no one forgets it who was there either.
No.
Yeah.
No. I just remember him coming on with a turban. It was like this whole arabesque thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, we never booked him again.
No, nice idea though. It would have been good. And talking of like production, I know over the years that's spawned through lots of festival gigs and Glastonbury being, maybe a highlight.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely the highlight of my year. Coming from there originally and stuff. But yeah, we were really lucky enough to be asked by some friends of ours. They're a guy called Gideon and Steve, and they run a company that does like set design called Block 9. And recently they had their own field there, and we basically build this kind of New York 1970s tenement bombed out block, I suppose. We have like you go down an alleyway and there's a club, and it's all like sort of trannies and drag queens, and it's just been amazing. And I think initially when we wanted to do it, a lot of people were saying, "Oh, we don't need a gay space at Glastonbury; it's so free." But actually, we never intended it to be just like exclusively gay.
Yeah.
We obviously wanted like a gay space at Glastonbury, but it was. As with everything that we do, really, it's about inclusivity. Including everybody, and I think you can have a gay party, but you don't have to, sleep with men to come.
Well, no,
it's an attitude.
Yeah,
so.
That was another one of my questions. I mean, I know because it is like traditionally where it's an outrageous polysexual crowd, and that's so hard to find. I think.
Yeah,
not even just in London, but
and in a
anywhere.
way that's not contrived either.
Yeah.
I think if you put music at the core,
it's all about the disco, isn't it?
Yeah,
really?
If you put music at the core, I mean, anyone who's into it's going to come, and regardless of their sexual orientation or whatever. But I think obviously there's definitely a the core crowd is definitely gay. I'd say it was like 90% gay at least, maybe even more.
But is that something you're proud of, the fact that anyone is
I've always I mean I love going to gay clubs, but I also like going to sort of straight clubs. But I think
nice
the more and more we've moved on, I think that it's not just about who you sleep with, it's about your attitude and being a bit alternative and creative and stuff, and I think that's the most overridingly important thing about what we do.
For sure, I concur.
Thank you.
And in terms of production, I know you guys have got your own label now. Is there a lot happening on that side of things?
Well, we've done a couple of re-edits, but we're actually working in the studio at the moment. We're working with Tim Goldsworthy, who's currently doing Massive Attack's album. So
huge.
I know it's amazing. He really believes in us, which is
scary.
But
good pressure.
But good at the same time. So we've been down to Bristol and we're working on some music at the moment. It's it'll be a slow process. None of us are sort of musicians. We just know a lot about music and are trying to kind of put that into a little project.
But that's great. You're still learning then.
It's
There's
great.
Still
I mean,
it's
just a new facet of what we do. And we all love DJing, and that's what we all are first and foremost. And some of the other guys have had a lot more experience in producing music. Severino has, and Luke has as well. So it's just really nice to be able to give it an opportunity like that to
do something new.
To do something like that, absolutely.
And how important do you think it is for aspiring DJs to be producing their own tracks as well these days?
I mean, I think it does help. I don't think it's I think you can be a great DJ and
that's it.
And that's it.
Yeah.
But it does add another facet to your sort of career if you can produce music, or we've been really lucky in the fact that 8 years on and getting bookings and doing festivals and doing clubs, we haven't had anything out, we haven't produced anything. So I guess you know, in a way, it doesn't really matter as long as you're a good DJ, or you bring something to a club or to a party. I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah, cool.
I mean, of course, like some DJs, you know, I think you can have some DJs who are fantastic DJs. Their productions aren't so great, and sometimes the other way around, like their productions are really good.
It can be detrimental sometimes.
Yeah, you know, they might, you know, you can't be good at everything.
Yeah.
Know
what you're good at.
Some people are, and I hate them.
Yeah,
but
it's rare.
Yeah, but
yeah,
you know,
good luck to them.
Absolutely.
And I mean, it's a global brand now. So you've got your compilations and you're touring heavily. Are there any territories where we might be surprised to hear that Horse Meat Disoc is a resounding success?
I mean, to be honest, I find.
What was that? Sorry.
I find any territory, you know, pretty much everywhere we play, I'm always surprised that we go down so well. You know, I still get nervous before we play, and you know, nothing's a guarantee, and you know, who knows if people are going to get it or not. So I'm constantly surprised.
Just everywhere. As long as there's a crowd.
Yeah,
you're happy.
Everywhere I go, I'm always like, oh, is it going to work? And you know, luckily so far we have. I mean, I think maybe off the top of my head, the oddest place where things went really well was Jakarta in Indonesia. That wasn't somewhere that I thought there'd be like a massive acceptance and a receptive crowd. But they're lovely, really, you know, they were lovely people. So
good stuff. It's nice to hear.
I just, you know, I love the fact that we can travel around and sort of see the world.
It's a hard life, isn't it?
It's so hard.
So hard. And who, out of anyone, I mean, dead or alive, if you could have anyone headline with you or play with, is that an impossible question? Or is there anyone that stands out?
I mean, I think anyone who loves disco would always love to have Larry Levan from the club.
I was hoping you'd say that.
Yeah. I mean, I was just listening to a thing on NPR radio today about Larry Levan, and it was, you know, it was great, and I think he's the, you know,
he's the ultimate godfather,
exactly,
isn't he?
But you know, he's dead, so he's not going to be able to. But
maybe that's why it's because it's never going to happen.
But we have been really lucky at the club to have a lot of the people that we've always wanted to play. I mean, we still love to have Harvey if he ever comes back to the UK.
Is that a possibility?
I know he's up for it. But it's just a question of when he comes back. I hope he comes soon.
Me too.
But yeah, we've just been talking to a few other people that we'd really like. I think 8 years on, we've sort of had everybody that we've all kind of wanted to have, and now we're kind of really going for the sort of the legends.
Out there,
you know, it's kind of like something absolutely Glastonbury, the Shirley Bassies,
why not?
The Al Greens.
I'd love to see Shirley Bassey at Horse Meat Disoc.
So would I.
Can you imagine?
Well, no.
Well, she did Glastonbury in her sparkly wellies.
She did,
that was a turn up for the books.
No, we had a good time. That was the really muddy one, and she did bring a ray of sunlight into a very wet and muddy brown Glastonbury.
Cool. So now this might be a bit of an impossible question, but is there a favourite disco track of all time, or something that gets the party going, if it's flagging, or?
Well, there's always one record that I always rely on, and I think ever since I've started DJing, I've played it every time, and that's Gene Khan. Was that what it was? Classic Philadelphia kind of tune, and I don't know if it's just a classic at Horse Meat, but every time you play it, people rush to the dance floor, including me.
Yeah.
It's one of those songs that
you never get bored of.
Never get bored of it, and I don't think I ever will. So it's that would be my number one.
Look it up, people. We might have to put a link to YouTube for that one. It's classic. But Groove Fest is a week in the Dominican, sun, sea, sand, maybe the other S if we're lucky. Yeah. And what appealed to you about this kind of festival? Is it something you've encountered before?
Well, no, not really. I mean, the closest I suppose would be something like Croatia, but it's certainly not in the same kind of luxury league. I think, you know, just a chance to play in paradise, you know, in a beautiful location is always going to be a good thing. So that's what I'm looking forward to, and you know, a bit of R&R and dancing. And
you say that now.
Yeah, exactly.
Carnage for a week.
If Glastonbury's anything to go by, I probably won't get any sleep, and I'll be just like,
Glastonbury, but with less Portaloos. That sounds like
bring it
heaven.
On, bring it.
And if you could bring just one album to a desert island, could you choose?
Again, I don't know. I mean, there's one album that I love. From beginning to end, and every track I absolutely love, and it's kind of maybe a little bit cheesy, but it's Donna Summer's Bad Girls album. I mean, you've got everything on there, from like really beautiful ballads to some quite sort of like poppy, cheesy sort of disco stuff, and then the more kind of marauder, kind of electronic, kind of weirder stuff. So that one from beginning, any Donna Summer album really, they're always consistently good, but that one sort of sticks in my head.
Sticks out. Yeah. The famous, if you weren't a DJ, what would you be doing?
Oh God knows.
Do you not even want to think about it?
I don't know. On the dole, or there's no dole anymore. I always thought that if I had to fall back on something, it would probably be teaching. Actually, my My partner's mum has said that she'd get me a job teaching Italian out in Hawaii, so I might have to hold her to that.
Yeah, you never know. This might all fall
I'll
to
do.
pieces one day. But then again, living in Hawaii wouldn't be too hard a compromise, would it?
I think I could quite manage that.
So teaching the kids disco. That'd be a good compromise.
I don't think there'd be much of a disco department, but I could teach languages maybe or something. So
yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one to.
I'd probably be a terrible teacher, but
no, who says? And what would be your proudest achievement to date?
I think the club.
Yeah.
It would have to be, yeah.
Yeah, and that's a collaborative effort, isn't it? There's 4 of you guys.
There's 4 of us involved in it, yeah. So
you can share the burden a little bit.
Exactly, we can be omnipresent.
Yeah, and the love as well, obviously.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we can sort of straddle the continents between 4 of us. So like on one night we could be in Melbourne and Berlin on the same night.
Yeah, chasing the day.
We're lucky that way.
Or chasing the night, even. Yeah. So what do we not know about Horse Meat Disoc or yourself? Have you got a party trick?
I can fall asleep anywhere.
That's quite good. I wish I could do that, actually.
Yeah. You know, stick a TV on, I'll be out in a second.
Get a bit older and it's all about
I don't think I have like anything really amazing party trick wise or anything that
Yeah, I'm a bit of a letdown on that front as well.
I mean, I'm fun.
Yeah.
Quite fun at parties, but I don't have like a
drunk.
party trick. I am a good drunk.
A good
drunk. I'm quite, I'm not a messy drunk.
No, good stuff. We'll test that in the Dominican.
Exactly.
That's been great, James. Thanks for your time. We look forward to seeing you out there.
I'll see you there.
Cheers.